Hello and beautiful day to you. I'm going to be showing you how to create a score sheet using the Microsoft Excel. So let's go ahead and open our Microsoft Excel program. So if you want to open the Microsoft Excel program, you move your mouse gently to your start menu over here. Can you see that? So when you move your mouse there, just click on it. So when you try to look for the Excel, I didn't see it on the list here. What you need to do is type Excel from your keyboard. So before you finish typing, Excel should have popped out from the list here. So when you see Excel, just click on it. Then over here, what you just need to do is to click on blank workbook. Good. So you have your Excel fully launched. So the first thing we're going to look out here is how to merge cells. Merging cells means, you know, grouping one, two, or more cells to become one. So if I want to do that for the first row here, I'll click and drag out the cells I want. Can you see on the screen? Good. Then I'll under my home tab, I will click on merge and center. So that's how to merge cells. You have to select all the cells you want to merge together, then you move to merge and center. Good. So the next thing is we're going to add some text to our cell. So any text you want to add text to, you have to click on the text and type straight from the keyboard. So right here, you are typing score sheet. Good. So over here, let's type serial number. Here, let's type name. Here, let's type um, gender. Okay, here let's type math. Okay, let's go. Let's type gender. We're coming back. We're going to use the drop down aspects to work on gender over here. So let's type maths, English, and probably let's do ICT too. Then over here, let's go to total and let's go to remark. Okay. So we're going to be using different approach to format each of these cells so that they can calculate automatically. Do you understand? So the next aspect here is to teach you how to format your cells. Okay, so if you want to format your cells, what you just need to do is click on the cell. Over your home tab here, you have a lot of, you have colors, you have background colors, you have borders, you have bold. Okay, now let's click on bold. Here you can increase from here. Can you see that? You increase your score sheet from here, your cell from here. Okay, and you can do all of that on any of these cells here. Okay, so before we do that, let's add three data. Okay, number one, let's say I have first name for your okay. Now you find out that when I'm typing this, the name overlaps and appear on this cell, and which is not supposed to be so. So if you want to correct this, what you just need to do is to click on the name on the cell, then you move to the column here. You move gently to the side until your cursor changes to this one. Is that clear? Now let me go back. You have to move your cursor gently to this side in such a way that I give you this icon, this cursor on the screen. Okay. So when you have this cursor, that means you are good to go. So what we are about to do is to increase the width of this column. Okay. So you want to do that, move your mouse gently here. You click and drag out. Okay. So when you click and drag out, can you see that the name have already has its own space here without tampering on this space. Is that clear? So here we'll move to adding scores. The thing in here is equal to 1. We had another details here, which is let's say gifts, Kaka, your maybe. Okay, here let's say we have 11, we have 14, we have 22. Okay, so here we have, let's say, Chinwe Michael. Can you see that? So here she has 23, she has 22, and she has 44. Okay, so what we're going to do here, where Excel comes into play here, is the ability for us to program it to, automatically provide the gender through the drop down, and automatically to calculate all these codes together, and also to provide a remark for us automatically. Good. So the first thing we're going to look out over here is how to create the gender automatically. Okay. So we want to do that. We'll go through data validation. So before we do that, on an empty space, I'm going to print out over here. I'm going to type select. I'm going to type male. We are trying to put a drop down right now. I'm going to type female. Good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the cell I want it to appear, the drop down. I want the drop down to appear. Then I will go to data tab over here. So when I click on the data tab over here, I will move to data validation over here. It's under data tools. Okay. So when you click on data validation, it's going to show you this box. Is that clear? So what you just need to do next, click on allow drop down. Can you see that? So you click on allow drop down, then you choose list. So after you choose list, just move to the source over here. You click on this button here. Can you all see my mouse? You click on this button here. So it will give you the avenue to select all of these together. Do you understand? Select the three together by click and dragging. Okay. So when you're done, go back to this part here. Okay. When you click on it, you click on OK. So automatically, can you see that you have a drop down arrow over here? So when you click on the drop down arrow, it gives you all the options to select from. Good. So that's how to create a drop down list in Microsoft using Microsoft Excel. So the next thing I want to show you is how you can, apply the same formula on all other cells, so that you don't keep going to other cells and doing the same process you use. Okay. So since you've gotten one unknown cell, you can also duplicate the particular format you use here on all other cells. So if you want to do that, now watch my mouse carefully. So I'm going to move down to where I have these small dots over here. Can you see? So my cursor here is different from my cursor on the dot. So you must always take note if you want to, duplicate your formulas around to the other cells. So you need to take note. So I'll have to move gently. Can you see the small dots over here? You click and drag down. Okay, you click and drag down. Can you see that? So that means automatically I've duplicated the data validation I did there over to these cells also. Exactly. So from there I can click and choose the mail. I'll go back here. Instead of typing, I'll click and choose a mail. I'll come back here. Can you see the list? This is the list we just created through data validation. Okay, so this is a female. So the next thing we're going to look at now is how you can create your total, how you can calculate your total. So if you want to calculate your total in Microsoft Excel, we start our calculation with, or any function with, an equals to. Do you understand that? You don't just calculate 12 plus 13 plus 21. No, you have to, do some Excel function or calculation to calculate it automatically. Do you understand that? So how do we calculate all these cells together to give us total here? What we need to do is you click on the total, the cell you want it to appear on. Okay, then you start with equals to. Do you understand that? But before we do that, let me explain how you can get, or how you can identify a cell name. If you click on any cell, automatically the name appears over here. That means this cell is D3. So how come this cell is D3? It's because it's under column D and it's sitting right at row 3. Do you understand? So that's the reason why this cell is called D3. So this cell here is not just 13, it is E3. Why? Because under column E and is resting on row 3. Do you understand? So E3. Do you understand that? So the place where the column meets with the row is called a cell, and that's how the cell name is being what generated. Do you understand that? So this cell I'm in now is called F5. Why? Because it's under row, it's under column F and row 5. So it's this for the 4 is called F5. Okay, so the name is very important for us to make calculations. So in Microsoft Excel, if you want to calculate each cells, you don't just pick their numbers and calculate them. No, you must pick them through their cell names. Okay, so if you want to do the calculation right now, I will click on the cell and start with my equals to. Always remember, for you to make a calculation, you must start with equals to. So your equals to the name of the cell, which is here on my cell I have D3. Okay, I can type D3, or I click on D3. Okay, then I will say plus. I will type plus from my keyboard. Then I want to calculate this also. I'll say this cell name is E3. So E3 plus E3, then plus over this cell, that is F3. F3. There are a lot of ways you can do the addition formula. You can use your sum function and so on and so forth. Do you understand that? Okay, so this is just the basic way of adding cells together. So when you press your enter key, automatically the Microsoft Excel calculates it for you automatically. Exactly. So if there's any changes in any of the cell, maybe this is supposed to be like 31, then when you fill in automatically the cell change. Do you understand that? Good. So like how we did the drop down here, how we duplicated the formula down to the other cells, we're going to do the same thing here also, instead of clicking here and typing the same thing all over again. Okay, so you just click on the first cell where you have this formula. Can you see that? When you click on the cell, you can still see your formula up here, or you can double click. Do you understand that? Good. So now I want to duplicate this to other cells so that they can calculate it for me automatically. So what I do is I'm going to move my mouse, can you see, to these dots. My mouse to these dots. Okay, so when I move my mouse to these dots, then I'm good to go. Okay, so I'll click and drag down. I'll click and drag down. So when I drag down, you'll find out that I have all the formulas on each of these cells. Okay, and each of these is calculating based on the values over here. Do you understand? The values over here. So that's all about making calculation in Microsoft Excel. So for your remarks here, we're going to be using a function called if function. If function. We are using if function, which is also called if function. So we're using this remark to determine whether this particular row fails or pass. You are determining whether this particular row details whether it's a pass or a fail. Good. So if you want to do that, I've told you must start with equals to. Okay. So I'm going to type my equals to from my keyboard and type if. Okay. Then you open the brackets sign. Then you type if. I've told you in Microsoft Excel, whenever you want to communicate with a cell, you have to communicate with the cell name. So the cell name of where my mouse is pointing out now is H3. Okay, is H3. So I'm going to say if H3 is greater than 50. Okay, If H3 is greater than 50, I'm going to put a comma from my keyboard and give a space. Okay. Now I'm going to open my double quotes. I'm going to open my double quotes and type the first true value, which is pass, and close my double quotes. Then I'll type the comma again, open my double quotes again, and put the false answer, which is fail. Okay, then I'll close my double quotes. Now let me explain. Okay, before I do that, you are going to, close the brackets. Okay, so before pressing the enter key, let me explain how this works. It means if H3 is greater than 50, automatically this cell should have pass. So the first value here is the truth value. That means this statement is true. That is, if this H3 cell is greater than, if the value there is greater than 50, it should print out pass over here. But if it's not greater than 50, it's going to print out the second value, which is what? Fail. Okay. Now let us go ahead and press enter. If you press enter, did you see what happens? There's a pass here. So I'm going to use the duplicating method also to duplicate the formula round to the other, row, other cells. Okay. So when I drop it down, can you see automatically that for this row it's fail, for this row it's pass, because here it's greater than 50. Okay. So that's how to use the logical function. We call it if function to determine whether the particular statement is true or false. Did you understand that? Good. So the next stage we're working on is how to create a border around your cell. How do you apply a border around your cell? You have to select all the cells you want to apply border on. Can you see that? Then you go through your home tab. So from your home tab, on the font group over here, you have borders. Okay? So when you click on the arrow beside it, you have to choose all borders. So automatically you have borders around this. Did you understand that? Good. So the last here, I'm going to teach you how to create charts. Okay, we want to create a chart to determine the between the pupils and the total marks. Okay, between the pupils and the total mark. So if I want to create the chart, the first thing I need to do is to select the names and also select, I'll hold down my control key and select the total. Okay, good. Now let me do it again. Remember, we want to create charts now. So for me to create chart, before I do that, I have to select the names. Can you see? I will hold down my control key. While holding down my control key, I will select the total. Okay, I'm doing this because I want to create a chart between the names and the total score. Is that clear? Good. So if after selecting these two, then you just move to your insert tab. When you click on your insert tab, you find out that there's chart over here. Do you understand that? So you have chart, you click on the chart, drop down arrow and choose any chart you feel like you're working on. Okay, so when you click on this, automatically you have the chart over here. Can you see? So we have the names and the charts, the names and the chart, names and the chart. So the highest here is Chinwe Michael. Can you see that? Because Chinwe Michael has 89. Do you understand that? So when you decide to fill in all of these, remember to copy the formulas and so on and so forth. Thank you.